saying, animal totems. There's many, many animal totems that are connected to our birth chart. And when we want to really focus in to the basics of astrology, we want to look at our sun, moon, and ascendant, and a little bit of the MC. And so the MC and the animal totems that are connected to your MC will actually help you in your career aspect. So that's a good one to remember or take note. But today, my idea is to quickly run through that and help people look and find their chart and how to do that. And then I'm going to go through quickly the animals, and then we will do a meditation, and hopefully an animal will show up in your meditation. It might not be an animal that is connected to your sun, moon, and ascendant, but that's okay. We can chat after if there is an animal that jumps in that isn't, or you haven't covered, and we can find out where that's coming from. And then maybe go into a quick practice of how to draw out our animals, and maybe Mark can help with that process and with his awesome that kind of stuff, whatever that was called.
I was thinking we could do a little pareidolia, decalcomania kind of mini exercise to help draw, like pull out of the ether our visions.
Yeah, cool. That's exactly what that was describing. Okay, so is everybody ready? Does anybody have a question so far right now? Before I'm going to share the screen, I'm going to just share astro.com and just go through quickly how to get to your chart. Did anybody have any questions right now? Okay. Cool. So let me just share the chart and we'll bring it in. Rosie's just gone to get Mike, but I'm sure she will catch up. Where is it? It's not there. Wait. No.
So last time I was on and you read my chart, I've been talking to a couple of people about the chart, and one of my friends, Kristen, she was pretty good at reading it, and she kind of went into it, but I keep on telling everybody, because it's like when you have somebody do tarot reading and they don't know you, but they tell you their whole life. It's like so interesting, because I keep on telling people, I'm like, yeah, a woman, Chantel, that's really amazing on the train. She told me about my mom deal, and like I don't know her, so like she read my chart and like got deep into my life and like doesn't know that. So like that's what's so cool about tarot and astrology, really, is you could just get so deep, and it's just it's such a conduit. It's so weird. It's cool. It's tripped out.
It is. It's such a beautiful way of seeing our blueprints, and I guess also I have, my job is a psychic shaman, psychic reader. So I always have my guides working with me as well, and so they'll kind of dob you into, and I might be looking at something on the chart but not really getting it, and then my guides will come in and say, hey man, this dude's doing this, blah blah blah. And so then I deliver that, and they're like, wow, you read that in the chart. Well, yeah, kind of, I get it from the ethers anyway. But yes, the more we practice and the more we learn the basics of astrology, it will definitely open up. And my experience is the more that we use our own chart and explore our own chart, we have a better way of actually reading others. Even though it's so exciting, you get some information for yourself and you look at your chart and you just want to do everybody's chart, you know, and that's cool too, because the more different charts that you come across, obviously the more you're going to learn about it. But keeping it really simple is the best way, until you go, you know what, I've got that down pat, now I want more. And then, you know, going into the other realms. Astrology, there is just so many different flavors of astrology. And the way that I learned was with my shaman, and he kept it real and simple. And, you know, I've got some other friends that are definitely into evolutionary astrology, and it's not simple, you know, it's a freaking science, and it blows my head up a lot. So I like to keep it simple too. Now, let me come in and show you this. Everybody can see this, right? So it's astro.com, and that's what you just type in, www.astro.com. And I have an account, but you'll potentially see this page, and you come into free astrology, you hover over that, and you come down to extended chart selection, and you click onto that. Now, mine is already there, but if I was to add a new person, this is what you would see next. And so you fill in all your details. So your name, your birth date, the hour or the minute that you were born. Now, if you don't remember what time you were born, well, my shaman says everybody knows what time they were born because they were there. So you could do a muscle test for that, or simply go and ask somebody that you think might know. In Australia, we don't have the time that we were born on our birth chart, but we have it on our hospital records. So I'm not sure about over there. And then you type in your country and your town, and then you press click, and it will take you to, let me just go back to my, and it'll come to this chart. And so making sure that it's on the natal chart, that's definitely there. And I come down to my house system. There's many, many different house systems, but I choose Poffrey. And you can explore and have a look at the different ways of that, of the different house systems. It might mean something to you, might not. And then I go draw to all aspects, to draw to all objects. And I'm also going to pick Lilith. So Lilith's a good one to pick right now. And I don't know why, I'm just being told. For all you mob that are over there in the darkest part of the year, and Lilith is definitely got some good energy, great energy for exploring deep within you. And then I go into click here, show my chart. And here we go. Here it comes. Here's my chart. And my computer's deciding to be slow. I'm going to lose you for a minute, but then it's going to come back on. I'm going to freeze and I'll be back. Frozen! I'm frozen! Am I back on? Somebody needs to tell me.
The chart is frozen halfway, but you are not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cool. You can see me. So let me just go back. I'll try it again. There we go. So we're going to see this.
Perfect.
And yeah, cool. And so the main ones that we want to just circle today is the sun, the ascendant, and come down to this chart, and it'll be the moon. Yep. And then if you go all the way down the bottom, you'll see the MC and the Scorpio. If you look in this chart here, the MC is sitting up here in Scorpio, in my Scorpio, but it will be different for everybody. And my sun is down here in Taurus, and my moon here is in Pisces, and my ascendant line is in Aquarius. And it's just in there in the bottom part of Aquarius. So they're the three main signs that we want to just have a look at today, because otherwise we'll be here for hours and hours and hours going through all the different planets and different aspects. So I can share with you, like I did last time, is there any questions right now?
I forgot what the MC is. Is that the rising sign?
That's so the ascendant is the rising, isn't it? I don't know. Ascendant, I think, is the rising. The MC is the midheaven. Is another term for that one.
Okay.
And the MC is the small percentage that marks your career aspect. So, you know, as you see here with mine, my ascendant is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is the psychic, the psychic of the astrology. So I'm definitely, you know, honoring my career path. And Pisces has also got some psychic flavor in there too. Okay. Now, let me just stop the share, and then I will post in the thing a little blurb on the astrology animals, so everybody's got that. I think that's how I do it. And I'm not sure for those people that are watching later on whether they have access to that document or not. I don't know. Whoops. I've just sent it to nobody, to the vision train. Not all of you. Let me just post that to you.
Hi, Chantel.
Hello, Amy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. This is very wonderful. So I'm filling this out alongside you and wanted to make sure I got everything. I put Lilith to all aspects and the porphyry. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other special things?
No, that's it.
All right.
And you press go.
Chantel, is there some place, since we're streaming this, people who are tuning in via Facebook or YouTube won't be able to have access to the file that you sent? Is there some place that people can easily find a list that's similar to this? Or do you have-
The people that are looking on live right now, I suggest that you get a pen and paper, because I'm just going to quickly run through them with my voice.
Perfect.
As far as finding them on the net, you know, there are so many different websites, I'm sure, that will go through a lot of the animals, and probably quite different animals, you know, different. But these are the ones that I've been given And so let me go through them quickly right now for all those people that don't have access to that. And that is Aries. Aries starts at the beginning. Aries is the first sign. And Aries is the ram, which we all kind of know about, the ram. In Australia is kangaroo, and American is the hawk. And yeah, I'm not going to go into specifics, and we'll be here for a long time. But the other aspect to Aries is that I am. That's the premise for Aries, is I am. I am freaking God. I am everything. I am in your face. Aries are great at being in there, doing action, planning, creating new ideas. Yeah. They can be really aggressive, but they don't think that they're aggressive. And you're saying, whoa, calm down, man. You're being aggressive. I'm not. You know, it's like aggression and passion are very, very similar energies. Taurus is the bull and the wombat and the beaver. Taurus is I have everything that I need. If I don't have it, I'll go get it. I have the things that are dear to me, you know. Also, you know, I have Taurus in my sun, and I have many things, you know, but then I can have many more things. Like my flutes, I have lots of flutes. Drums, I have lots of drums. Paint, I have lots of paint. And can never stop shopping for paint. Taurus, also Taurian people are fantastic cooks. And, you know, you could be a Taurus and a vegan at the same time, but if you had a really big influence of Taurus, you probably cannot maintain the vegan aspect for a long time because, and that's just my opinion, coming from a Taurian, I'm not going to ever limit myself with my food intake. I'll always be able to have everything and explore everything and anything. And that's not dishing on vegans either. I have lots of vegan friends. Gemini is the twins, and it's the sugar glider and the deer. Now, I did read back through the last time I did this, and a few people had said, what is the sugar glider? And the sugar glider is this cute, tiny little, oh, it's so dear and beautiful face. I did paint a sugar glider on my grandmother with my grandmother painting, and they're a lot smaller than a possum, and they have kind of this skin between their front leg and their back leg, and they just jump from tree to tree and they glide through the air, kind of like a bat, but definitely not a bat. They're super cute, super cool, and they're really gentle. They're really gentle, but they're also really active in a community. So the sugar gliders will always hang out in communities and like to socialize. So that's part of the Gemini too. Geminis are definitely social butterflies. And the deer is the American totem for Gemini. And a lot of Geminis definitely have, and Geminis that have in their ascendant rather than their sun will have beautiful deer eyes, gentle, loving eyes. Cancer is the crab and the koala and the woodpecker. Now, I don't know too much about the woodpecker, but the koala is homebodies. They love to be in their one tree, and they'll stay there forever if they could. And Cancer is I feel. You know, the premise is I feel. Gemini premise was I think. They think a lot. Cancer is I feel, and you know, they really have their home on their back like the crab, and you would never really turn up to a Cancer's house unannounced. You really want to let them know that you're coming. But they feel everything. You know, you could hug a Cancer and they would actually feel right into your being and know exactly what's going on. Cancer people also don't necessarily see. They're not visual people, they feel. So in a meditation, they might be going, well, I didn't see a wombat, like, you know, or I didn't see the beach that you told me to go to. And you say to them, but did you feel it? Oh, yeah, I felt the sand under my feet. Leo is the lion, the frill-neck lizard, and the salmon. And the Leo is I will. So I have a great will and I will get things done. Yep. Also Leo mamas are, you know, definitely protective, and they can be really fierce. Leos are awesome leaders. And they also have tears. The Leos are cry people. Not as much as the Pisces, but the Leos definitely have and feel emotion deeply. Yep. And that's hence the salmon. You can see the salmon, the watery salmon people, right? But they're leaders. Yeah. They navigate the emotional flow. And so Virgo is I analyze. The Virgo is obviously the Virgin, it's the Echidna, and the bear. And the Virgo bears are like little bear people, like little sun bears, and not those big Sag bears. And Virgo is I analyze everything. My eldest son is a Virgo, and when he was growing up, it was why, mum? Why? Why is that? Why is this? Why is that? Why? Everything's why. And everything is, I want to figure it all out. I want to know exactly how that works. So all of his toys were always pulled apart because he needed to know how they all worked. Virgos are quite particular people too. And sometimes we can see, and people will kind of like dish on the Virgos, you know, like they're anal. They like things very particular. But Virgos are great, you know, great. My mum's a Virgo, and I definitely had some hard times as a Taurus and a Pisces aspects growing up with the Virgo, because I was extremely creative and wanted to create everywhere and everything, you know, in my footsteps, but she wanted to just clean it up all the time. And, you know, you couldn't paint, it was too messy. Yeah. And so the Librans is I balance, and they are the scales, but also the cockatoo and the raven. And the cockatoo and the raven have deep magic within them. So the Librans are very magical people too. And if you've got an aspect of Libra in your chart, then I would definitely recommend you doing candle magic and all of that kind of witchy stuff is what I would say. Yeah. And if a Libran set up their altar, they would definitely have 2 of everything. And they would have the candles positioned in a balanced way. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Libra. The Scorpio is a scorpion, the spider, the redback spider, and the snake. And Scorpio people is I desire. And so if you have strong Scorpio influence, awesome sex people, you know, great sex with a Scorpio. But also be very careful if you're going to go searching for a Scorpio to have a good time with. They definitely can entangle you into their web. And an unbalanced Scorpio is, you jump through my hoop or I'm going to freaking bite you or sting you, you know. I'm going to put my venom into you. So a Scorpio child can be very, very demanding and have big tantrums when they don't get their own way. But Scorpios are awesome. You know, they look at things so deeply. They're great at memory. You know, I had a girlfriend Scorpio once, and she came up to me and she said, "Now, Chantel, 5 years ago, we had this conversation and you said blah, 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 blah. What did that mean?" It's like, fuck, 5 years ago? I don't remember freaking yesterday. But Scorpios have that memory, and yeah, and so they're good. They're good at that, keeping check on everything. So the Sag, we come down to the Sag, and the Sag is the Archer. Sag is the Kookaburra and the Owl. And they see, I see the big picture. I see the first thing in the morning. The Kookaburra is the one that gets up laughing every morning and welcomes the day with that laughter. But also the Owl is the one that sees at night. And so they are the big seer throughout day and night. Also, the Sag are people that want to explore everything and are so deeply rewarded by listening to many, many people and their stories and their cultures. They're always hungry for experiencing others. Yeah. And then we come to the Capricorn, and the Capricorn is I use. Fantastic builders, awesome. Capricorns are awesome bank managers. They love to count their money. A true Capricorn would know exactly how much money is in their account, and probably all their family members' accounts as well. And they love to actually organise everybody's finances. My dad was a Capricorn. He always said to me, make sure, Chantel, you have a job that's paying you good money. And don't do anything silly. Don't go off being some gypsy because you're not getting enough money to do that. Well, of course, the Tory in me was like, I'm going to rebel against my dad. And yeah, learned lots of different things around money and finances. But he's still pretty much like that. He's the goat, sure-footed goat. They're very sure-footed and grounded people because they will worry about everything. They just worry. They'll worry about Mrs. Jessup down the street and they've never even said anything to her. They don't know her, but they'll worry about her. So I use, that's their motto. Aquarius is I know. And now Aquarius is in my ascendant and I know everything. And if I don't know everything, I'll bloody well make sure I go and find out and do. And sometimes I will catch myself, or people will say, oh my gosh, Chantel, you say I know, you know, or I know, after a lot of things that I say. The Aquarius is the water bearer, the emu, and the otter. And big, big female medicine, the emu over here. The Aquarian is the humanitarian, and they're definitely in in alignment with understanding the human aspect. So they're very good healers. And the Aquarian also is quite eccentric. So they might not go through the mainstream of, you know, let's say being the mainstream doctor. They'd have some sort of quirkiness about them. They'd have some other aspect. The Aquarian also is the rebellion, the rebel of the stars seeds, or the astrologies. So they want to rebel against their dad. Like me, I rebelled against my dad, and I definitely rebelled against the general world that we live in. Yeah. And if you think about it, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is very much about rebelling against and standing up in your own power and standing and showing who you are as an individual as well as a collective, but standing up against authority. So, you know, those people that have Aquarius in their charts would be very, very quickly and easily adaptable to the changes that we're in, and find and be creative in going against the times, I guess. But for those people that may have a lot of Capricorn in their aspect, then they need to hang out with an Aquarian, because they're going to worry about everything. They're going to worry about the changes that are coming and the changes that are implemented. And yeah. And then we have Pisces, and the Pisces is I believe, I am a believer, I'm a dreamer, and they like to trip off into space. They're fantastic daydreamers. They're awesome tapping into their intuition or their imagination, because they're always in that daydreaming state. Yeah. And the Pisces is the fish, the platypus, and the wolf. And so a couple of things there. The platypus lives in the water, but also lives on land. And the wolf is a land being person too. The wolf is a teacher. And so the Pisces have a lot to teach. And if they are able to get out of that state of dreamland, they become fantastic teachers. They also have the ability to be flexible with people's emotional states too. They can feel, they'll cry for everybody. And a Pisces will definitely have sad tears, angry tears, happy tears, joyful tears. Any emotion will have tears behind it. And very watery people. I've got a Pisces son, and he is definitely a water baby. He loves to be in the water, and yeah. And he's got a great imagination. And so with that being said, I've just gone through all of the signs and given you the animal totems to those signs. Is there any questions right now in regards to anything that I've said, or anything other than what I've said?
Thank you for doing it. It's really been it's fun to dive into it. Yeah, I'm cool. Excited to learn more. Yeah, yeah.
No questions?
Chantel, Lacey is saying that she missed Aries. Can you just give her Aries one more time?
Yes, thanks. Aries is ram. Obviously, we know the ram, the kangaroo, and the hawk. And so one of the things about the kangaroo is that they can't jump backwards. They're an animal that cannot go backwards. And so Aries people are all forward thinkers and forward in the motion of things. So they're sometimes they get so in focus of moving forward that they hit their head up against some freaking walls and doors that aren't open. A lot of Aries people have scars on their heads as a child, and even in a posture stance, an Aries will be like this, like leaning forward, or their neck is like fully out away from their body, because it's like, I'm doing. Yeah. Aries also, in an artist aspect, could have like 15 freaking paintings and not finish any of them. And they're always like, oh, I need to start a new painting. I need to start a new one, you know. Maybe that could be all of us. I don't know. Yeah. Was there any other questions, or anybody else missed anything? Yeah, Paige.
Yeah, at the beginning you said if you didn't know your birth time, do a muscle check or something.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Because I've never known my birth time exactly.
Okay, so to do a quick muscle test, you can either get somebody. Are you asking what a muscle testing is? Like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never heard that at all, so I'm just curious.
Yeah. Okay. So so let me tell you how do I. Yeah. Okay. So you can get somebody to hold your arm and push against it. So if I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to show how to do it. So that
I could help maybe.
So the easiest way to do it, if you haven't been actually, if you don't know, is to get somebody else to do it. But if you want to just try this, to do it yourself, it might work. I don't know.
Chantel,
Yeah.
you can even try with the hand, because you're by yourself, versus with the arm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the hand positions. So my hand position is actually like this, and so my knuckle is straight, and I just go like that, and I'm actually asking for a yes, and it's solid, a no, and my knuckle is easy to move forward. But other people could be like this, you know, they stick their finger in the hole. No naughtiness going on here. And I'm gonna push against that hole. And if it opens up, it's a yes. If it doesn't open up, it's a no. So what we're actually asking for is I'm going to program that when I open up, it's a yes. So I'm going yes, 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 and it goes through. I'm going to say closed is a no, 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 and it's hard and it's tight, right? So if we just all try that for a minute, yes, 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 and it goes through easy, no, 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 and it's hard. And so we're actually, and it might take a little bit to feel the subtleness, and also drop the analyzer or the critic, because the critic will go, oh, you're freaking doing that. That's, you know, so it's like, take a deep breath, yes, 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 and it goes straight through. No, 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 there it goes. Yes, yeah. And that's interesting because I just was like, no, no, yes, yes, and it went through. So we've got to be really specific here in getting that linked in. And so now we're going to go through the time. So you could start at 6 a.m. First of all, before we do that, I just want you to, whoever, if there is anybody here that doesn't know what time they were born, I just want you to close your eyes right now, take a deep breath. And I'm going to ask you, before we do the muscle test, I'm going to say, what time were you born? And it's the first time that comes into your head. It's the first time that comes to you. And just quickly write that down. And then move away from that time for a minute. And so we come back to the muscle test. And so yes, no, yes, no. Yep. Okay. I can feel the difference in it. So I'm going to say, was I born at 6 a.m.? No. Was I born at 8 a.m.? So you're going to go through a 2-hour aspect. So 6, 8, 10, 12. And if you get a yes, then you can refine it, but you can also just put it in that time. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Cool. And so you can then just type in your time that you come up with, either the time that, and it might actually be connected to the time that you just thought about, or it might be off completely. And maybe you want to put in both times if that's the case. For now. And then if you do have the ability to find out your right birth time, you can come back and tap in. Yeah. Yeah, so where can you find, my son's singing in the background, so cute. There is a couple of books in regards to the astrology book. I think that there is a guy here in Australia named, I've lost him. I'll try and remember. I guess it's just like Googling it and Googling animals connected to my astrology chart. Now, if you're looking at more about the meaning of the animals, Ted Andrews is fantastic. He's got quite a few books out with animal. One of them is Animal Speak. I think he's got a couple of the animals, and they're definitely, a dictionary of animals, and they give you an understanding of the lessons and the medicine connected to the animals. And that may help you also understand how they're influencing your chart. Yeah, right, he's passed. Didn't know that. Thanks, Rosie. And he's got some great nature books as well. Like, yeah, they're just really great, filled with lots of information there. The other thing that I always say to people is tap into the obvious. And so let's say we go with the hawk for a minute in the Aries, and just, tap into what the hawk means to you. What's the obvious thing about the hawk? And to me, the obvious thing about hawks are that they hone in on their prey, and they go for their prey. Bang, they're straight in. There's no stalking or flutting around. Once they hone in on their prey, they're into it. And so the obvious message of that is that their Aries people are very direct in their approach of what they hone into. Yeah. And so there could be all sorts of, animal totems also have the ability to give us a lesson, and it can be a personal lesson. So for instance, for me, the willy wagtail was a very strong bird that is connected to my grandmother, because my grandmother taught me about the willy wagtail. But when I met my husband, and he had said to me that it was like the first night that I met him, and we were actually talking about nicknames. And he said, oh, my dad calls me Willy Wagtail because I was the boy that was born after 5 girls. And as soon as he said Willy Wagtail, I was like, man, this dude's for me. I got to know this dude more. He's been sent by my granny. And sure enough, we married and had 2 kids. Yeah. Any other questions? Let me see. Is there any? Oh yeah, the Chinese zodiac animals too. Yes. And that's cool too. Yeah. Definitely take that site, primalastrology.com. Is there any other questions before we go into? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of that guy's name. The Aussie guy. He's actually written a couple of books with the animal, and he's an animal medium. So he is able to talk to your animals, and past or present. Alexander. I can't remember whether he's Alexander is his first name or his last name, but yeah, someone will find it. Oh, that's cool. We could do an audio book session with Animal Speak. That sounds awesome.
That would be great. And the whole, I'm not sure if it's an abbreviated or if it's the full text, but the audiobook is like 3.5 hours, it looks like. So could definitely do it on a train ride.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And because the Animal Speak book at the beginning, it has so much information and so much exploring. You know, it's not just a whole book of a dictionary of animals. It's like knowing how to tap into them, knowing how to speak to them, knowing how to connect with them in nature, and also understanding all the signs of nature as well. So yeah, that would be fun to do. Any other questions about astrology in general? No?
I've got a question.
Sure.
How significant is it if your times that you have are 4 minutes apart, the one that popped into your head versus the one that you muscle test?
Whoa, that's so cool. I would 4 minutes apart, there's nothing that's going to be different in your chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's awesome. Yeah.
I have a question. Hey, Chantel. I have a question about how to work with your Mars, because that's something I've just been delving into recently, and it's given me a lot more understanding about myself. And so I don't know if you had any words about that, but it's opened up a whole new aspect in looking at my own chart.
And so what can you share with me about your Mars? Like, how has your Mars, what parts of your Mars has actually opened up to you or helped you understand you?
Okay, well, I recently, I don't know, I guess it just came to light to me that my Mars was in Cancer, and how, and I've been reading a lot about that, and how it's like basically the most difficult sign for your Mars to be in. And it's just made a lot of sense for me, and how I have issues and relating to home settings. Like, I've moved 3 times this year, and it's just like kind of, I always kind of push that aspect to the side, and now looking into it, it's like, oh, this is why I'm like this around home or around like things having to do with comfort. So I guess that's a little bit of background.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what house that your Mars is in?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can tell on this chart. Is it the
So
fourth?
have you got the round? Yeah, you've got the round chart that I was showing before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. And so the houses are the little tiny numbers that make the pie up in the circle.
Oh, let's see. I don't know how to read these charts just like with the.
Okay, if I just show you quickly my chart, and I'll show you how. Oh, no, I don't want to leave that. I want to share that. So you can see my chart now, and see these little numbers that are here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So where is your Cancer? Where's your Mars? Which house is it in?
This is a good test. Okay, hold on. Cancer.
If you come down here,
Oh, it's in the 9th.
Oh yeah, that's a heavy chart. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what the 9th house relates to?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. Let me I'll find something and share in the chat too that you can have a look at.
Okay.
Of what the houses represent.
Okay.
But having Mars and Cancer in the 9th house. Now, can you see where this P is for you?
Oh, the P. Let's see. Scorpio.
And what house is it in?
What house? Oh, well, it's just, it's kind of hard for me to tell. Like it says like 25 and 22, or no. I'm sorry. It's 10.
It's 10. Yeah. So your Pluto is actually in the sign of Scorpio, which is deep. Everything's deep for you. You're going deep. And the Cancer, the Mars in Cancer, it's like my immediate response would be build a friggin' cave, man. Like you would be really good in a cave and living underground. But like that, there is a part of you that just wants to go and do that and just live in a cave and fuck the world and fuck everybody else and just let me surrender into that place. And so, to me, your Mars also would be, I want the cave to have big windows. I want the sun shining in. But that Pluto is actually a very big influential aspect, especially living in its own house, which is Scorpio. And so, it's like making friends with that aspect for you. And my shaman would always say that when we have these aspects that are against each other or really pulling some tension, is making contracts, right? So it's like, okay, Mars, I'm going to live in a cave, but I'm going to have some spotlights, or the sunlight. I'm gonna give you some sun. I'm gonna go out into the sun and be in the world for this amount of time in a year. And so I'm making a contract. I'm pleasing my Mars in Cancer, because even Mars in Cancer can be in an opposition to each other there. But I wouldn't necessarily be really focusing too much on the Mars. I'd be looking at other aspects in your chart, particularly around your Pluto in Scorpio. And that's in the 10th house.
Okay.
So that's going to be some. There's a lot of, to me that actually brings some information that you're able to take people really deep, and maybe a hypnosis or something like that would be good. But taking people deep into their own healing, and also expressing to them in a loving, caring way that they need to take responsibility for their own shit.
Right.
The other aspect that I would be interested in your chart would be your Neptune, where your Neptune is. See this little sign here.
Capricorn. And what sign it's in,
What house is it in?
or what house is it in? The 12th house.
Yeah. Okay.
Are those like all really difficult?
No, this is great. But Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So there's a lot of love and connection with the Neptune, but also the Neptune has influences on, like the Neptune is the one that takes us into playing around with psychedelics or with lots of substances, right? And so with that being in your 12th house, I would say that sometimes you would be, perhaps you'd get to that drunk stage and you don't even know it, and you don't even know how you did it. And then you would be a little bit upset with yourself, because the Capricorn influence is like, I'm really worried that I'm really drunk now and I need to not be drunk anymore. Or, like those sorts of conversations in your head. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. All of that makes sense in the various ways. But so you would focus more about the Pluto aspect, but that's just specifically to my chart or everybody's, or?
No, that the Pluto is going to help you find some peace around what you're experiencing with your Mars and Cancer. So the information that you're receiving about your Mars and Cancer is helping you understand some of the strain and stress that is in your life. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so now I would be actually going to the focus of Scorpio, Pluto in Scorpio. So you can even go and do a YouTube and look up, can't think of his name now. His first name is Tom. He's really good. And there's this, what's the other guy's name? He's a tripper of a dude. He's a black dude, and he, I can't remember what his name is, but anyway, there's lots and lots of different YouTube videos explaining Pluto in Scorpio, or Pluto in the 10th house, and seeing how you can draw on all of that information to help you, get more depth of you, because the Cancer and Mars is only one small aspect that may be helping you understand your trauma and your uncomfortability. But we don't need to get fixated on it that it's a bad placement. To me, I feel like there's a lot in astrology that talks about these bad placements or heavy placements, challenging placements. And yes, there is, and it's not something that we shouldn't walk away from, but we don't get fixated on it, because also those heavier aspects is actually giving us the ability to understand the deep nature of who we are. And, you're a powerful woman, and you've got a lot of gifts to actually share on this planet, and share with taking people down to be responsible for their own shit. Also, with that aspect of Scorpio and the Pluto is you can't be taken for a ride. You're going to see deeply into people's. You've got the owl aspect there strongly, so you're going to see deception.
I see owls a lot, actually. So
yeah, and I would say owl is one of a big totem for you, and being able to be comfortable in the dark, comfortable in seeing deception, but also knowing that you have an aspect of healing, that you can take people down to heal that depth of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that insight into those aspects. I've been studying astrology casually for a while, and still feel like I don't know anything. So.
Oh yeah, I either do I. I've been with astrology for the last, well, I guess 20 years, and I don't know. I don't know everything. No way. There's so much to learn, and there's so much. It's exciting, and then there's aspects, moments in my life that I just turn it all off and push it all away, and come back to the norm, and then maybe jump back in and play around. I don't know everything about my own chart either. I think it's a lifelong journey of understanding all those aspects. Yeah. Was there any other questions before we did a meditation? No? Jump up now, quick, get in. And
some fun things were looking up some of the animals. A lot of the animals I'd never heard of before, but I got to learn about a few things. Sugar gliders, so very cute. The goanna and the echidna. Some really cool animals.
Yeah, cool. That's great. I'm glad that I'm passing on some Aussie wisdom to you, mob, and getting all that spread out, globally. Like, we're all family. That's what's exciting to me. So I am. I'm just gonna give me 1 minute, and then I will do the meditation.
Guys, while Chantel is setting up, if you want to make sure that you have some paper, pencil, pen, sketchbook to take notes after the meditation, or to do the drawing exercise, something you can do some scribbling on. Could be as small as a sketchbook, but it could also be something larger. I'll probably draw on a bigger sheet than I might normally do, so that you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. But have something ready to play with. And you can also grab really any drawing materials. It could even be done on an iPad. I do the exercises with Procreate a lot. So yeah, if you have some art supplies ready for afterwards, that would be great.
You're muted, Chantel. I don't know if you know that.
Thanks, Rosie. Okay, so we're just, oh, did you want to share something, Rosie? Have you got a book to share with us?
Oh, I just only because I thought you needed more time, so I grabbed the book. But if you're ready to start, I'll share afterwards.
Oh, is that an animal book?
Yeah, it's the Ted Andrews books. This is not the real one. The Animal Speaks the Best. This is another one he did, Animal Wise. But you can buy this little pocket one and take it with you to places, and I gift them to people. So I just wanted to show you that's inexpensive, but it's got only has like a paragraph on each animal, but it's nice. So,
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, but carry on. I think we're excited to start.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so we're all going to just take some deep breaths and just finding your breath, feeling where your breath is expanding into your belly and holding that breath for a moment. And as you pop it out, as you release, it's like the dolphin that comes up to the surface and it just pops out the out breath. So it's in and taking 3 or 4 of those breaths, the dolphin breaths, and feeling right now that your feet are anchored down into Mother Earth. Feeling your body in a comfortable position. And any tension, releasing it with your out breath. And in your mind's eye, looking down at your feet, you're going to go down those stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In front of you is a doorway, going through the door, closing the door behind you. Just taking a moment to notice the pathway that you're on. Following that path down into your sacred circle. And in this circle, you're calling up your animal totems, your guides, your angels, and your ancestors. And letting one animal totem come to you, stand in front of you. inviting an animal to merge with you right now. Feeling that your being and your essence is connecting with the spirit animal. Allowing the animal to take you on a journey. Taking a deep breath in, coming into your sacred circle. Giving thanks to all that have been with you in this time. Making your way back to your doorway. And just before you come back through the door, there's a gift for you. Just placing that gift into your heart space and giving something back. And coming back through the door, closing the door behind you, and back up the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just taking a moment to feel where your body is touching the ground or the chair that you're on. Just gently moving your fingers and your toes. And breathing in life and breathing out life. Maybe taking a small stretch, moving your body. And maybe even getting up off your chair when you're ready and stretching that body. And feeling the totems that are in you. And even if you didn't merge with a totem or an animal just then, know that they are all within your heart space. They're all part of you. And if you did merge with an animal, maybe it is just feeling right now, anchoring in, how does the animal move? You know, did you have wings? Stretch your arms out if you had wings. If you were a fish, how did your body move in the water? Or a snake? Were you the bear? That bear stomping on the ground, feeling the energy of the bear. Aye. And then taking that deep breath in and breathing into your being, breathing in to your soul space. And as you breathe out, feeling the love within you, feeling the love that it's expanding out, smiling, taking some time to really smile right now. We're smiling to ourselves. We're smiling to the totems that are with us. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes and looking into each other's train carriages and taking a moment to smile to each and every one of you here. And knowing that we are all connected on so many levels, on levels of right now in the train, on levels of us all being in human bodies, experiencing life. And even smiling to each and every one of you right now, the animals that we all were and all are, that we are powerful beings beyond measure. And we all have a medicine to share. And I'm so, so grateful that I am here right now sharing this medicine with you. And I'm so excited right now to continue with the process and remembering and really allowing yourself to fall deeply into the next process. And maybe when we are moving our bodies and drawing, that you take a moment to really move your body the way that your animal totems would move. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so generally I would say, right, we're straight in and get that pen and paper and we're moving straight in. But if those of you that need to jump up and do whatever it is that you got to do, that's cool too. But know that your sacred circle is always available for you to revisit and to anchor into all that are there in your sacred circle to help understand or give understanding for your life. And yeah, the joy, the sheer joy that is coming out of the bedroom right now is like, I'm so, so grateful for them that, I don't know if you guys can hear them, but I'm just so grateful that they really respected our time in meditation too. And it was definitely natural because I didn't even ask them. But yeah, yeah, I love my life. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Marc, to get us into the swing of decal and paro, whatever it is.
Pareidolia. Yeah, so
Pareidolia.
I'm probably not going to talk too much because I want everyone to get right into some drawing and getting those ideas, those visions down. But I'm going to show you guys a technique that I shared the other day that's kind of related to decalcomania. It's a form of creating pareidolia, which is the process of finding recognizable forms in the random patterns and chaos. So finding patterns in clouds and animals in clouds. And you can do this with decalcomania, with paint, with watercolors, acrylics, oils. But a lot of times I like to play with charcoals or pencil even, and smudge and really get very kind of visceral with my fingers. And sometimes I'll do it digitally too. That definitely works. I'm just looking for my charcoal. Here we go. I'm going to switch to a different camera so you guys can see a little better. Sometimes I do this on a big sheet of paper at my easel and get my whole body moving into it, and that's really fun to try. Today I'm going to go a little smaller and do it on a watercolor paper pad. Chantel, do you have any music that you would like to continue while we while we try and jot down our ideas.
Yeah,
So
sure.
thank you. So what I would say is, get right into just making marks on a page. And sometimes I'll start with, writing down some notes from my vision and, things that came up, animals that I saw, how they interacted with me or how I interacted with them, maybe the questions that I asked or the answers that I received. And then I'll just start scribbling, and maybe I'll just start with scribbling some little thumbnail type of sketch type things, like trying to, just move the pencil and play a little bit. But a lot of times I just like to start filling the page. And I really just like to get flowing. And I start to look for lines.
Macca's is adding flavour to summer, with the saucy McRib and famous El Naco both making a comeback, and both available after 10:30 a.m. for a limited.
Summer
I'm
surprise
so
we need to tell
sorry.
you about. Introducing the
Let's just
all-new
get
mini
3D
hotcakes
into the
with
fucking
Nutella.
Macca's.
Yeah,
Wow.
Macca's famous hotcakes. Made
I'm
mini
so
for the
sorry.
delicious,
Sorry, we'll cut
creamy
that
look.
out of the recording.
Add some flavour to your summer with Macca's, wherever.
So I like to just kind of get a flow going and move, and when there's music playing, you can go to the drum beat or the bass line. And what I'll start to do is I'll start to just randomly find shapes and lines to follow after I've got a little bit of something down on here. And then I'll start looking for faces and creatures and things that I can start pulling forward. And sometimes you get to a point where you've seen what's in there, and then you can kind of, with charcoal at least, you can kind of knock it back a little bit and then follow new lines. And I'm gonna look to see if I recognize any of my animal spirit guides that came up, or maybe sometimes I don't have very strong visualizations during meditation, and it's only when I start doing this process that the whole vision kind of snaps into clarity, and I understand a lot of the meaning, and the guides all of a sudden appear on the paper, even though I didn't have the imagery for them, maybe more of just a feeling during the meditation. It really can kind of coagulate through this process of scribbling, doodling, really letting yourself continue into the flow. And this is great to do after a meditation. It's also great to do just, as a warm up before a day of, drawing or painting. But, I'm seeing a raven's head in here, which was one of the animals that I saw. And that could be an interesting thread to follow. But I actually want to see who else is in there.
There goes a thought, goes a thought. Here goes a waste. There goes a thought, goes a thought, and the way that it goes away. Building it up from the floor. I didn't even know that it come with faith. Building it up from the floor. I didn't even know that it come with space. That it come with space. And so it goes up, hold the matter of the cornerstone. Well, truth be told, I feel distractions only get away. And so it goes up, hold the matter of the cornerstone. Well, truth be told, I feel distractions only get away. Getting away. I dip my quill in ink and watch it glitter gold. For thoughts I ought to think, I reach out so to hold. So behold, the soul that breaks the mold. Surrender to the stillness and the way the world dissolves. Oh, building it up from the floor. I didn't even know that it come with faith. Building it up from the floor. I didn't even know that it come with space. That it come with space, yeah, yeah. So it goes. And so it goes up, oh, the matter of the cornerstone. Well, truth be told, I feel distractions only getting away. And so it goes up, oh, the matter of the cornerstone. Well, truth be told, I feel distractions only getting away. So getting away. They're 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 getting away. So it goes.
Soundboy be blazing, connection, the melody, touch us, trust, the remedy heals. Feels like the first time I got my hands behind wheels. That rude boy steals and I surrender. He knows where I'm tender. He knows the words that make me weak. His fingers pressed against my cheek. I can speak, no sing, no distraction. I let the phone ring, full attraction. Hey, you know you got it going good. When you can just breathe. Come on and now give me some loving, darling, and we'll feed. Go ahead and say you're going. If you're gonna carry on and get down like that, can't hear you. Sweet soulful goodness, he's ruthless. The energy with one glance grants the tendency to give you now one last dance. His ability to listen, pure heart to wisdom. I shine when I'm with him. I'm not gonna hide my heart with his haze. Just to keep my mind and soul to the days. Oh, that he's with me. You know you got it going good. That you can just be. Come on and now give me some loving, darling. Based off that we feel, I will always be real. Go ahead and say your breath. If you're gonna carry on and get down like that. Can't hear your words, they lost their strength. When you're gonna carry on and get down like that. You're never gonna feel Do we make a change? Do we make a change? Do we make a change?
Tu veux toujours bagarrer, papa chéri. Jamais tranquille, jamais apaisé. Yeah. Pourquoi papa tu es toujours fâché, papa chéri? Ta bouche est piment, ta bouche me pique. Maladie, no way. Maladie, no way. Pourquoi papa, papa chéri? Pourquoi papa tu montres toujours les dents, papa chéri? Tout le monde est méchant. Est-ce que quelqu'un a de bons sentiments? Pourquoi papa tu veux toujours discuter, papa chéri? Tu n'es pas commerçant. Tu sais que tout le monde n'est pas brigand. Maladie, no way. Maladie, no way.
Hey guys. How's it going?
I'm doing well. I'm glad I made it back. That looks really.
Yeah. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thank you.
Were you here for the meditation? When did you pop out?
Just after you were doing like clouds, you were starting to get shapes going down, spiraling kind of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I ended up, during the meditation, I had a few animals come through, and I had the bison come through really strong for me. Like there was initially a lot of spiders bouncing around and snakes, and it was a really interesting, like I was like trying to communicate with the spiders, and then all of a sudden this massive bison kind of stomped through, scattering all the little guys out of the way. And I kind of communicated with him for a little bit, and merged with the bison and went off into this gorgeous American landscape with eagles and ravens kind of flying overhead, and just felt very connected with the earth and the air, and was flying for a little bit with the eagles, and yeah, really, really powerful vision. So then when I started doodling, I kind of started coming back to the bison like a few times, and you know, this was me like just kind of trying to get information down and see what I could pull out of the smudges and marks, and you know, just going to a place of automatic drawing and trying to capture a feeling from the meditation. And you know, it's the kind of thing where like this drawing is nothing really special other than kind of like helping to solidify the vision. And so if I wanted to develop this further, I would then, you know, look up some references of what a bison actually looks like, so I could get my proportions and really start to dial it in, so that I could make a, you know, a more rendered illustration, or you know, whether it's a drawing or a painting. But I think, you know, I might continue something with this like very powerful bison. And then I also started doing just kind of another pareidolia flow kind of piece, not quite decalcomania, but I was just kind of, I wet the page, and I'm not going to hold it up too much because it's pretty wet. I see one of my faces sliding off, but I can do this camera like this. So yeah, I just started, you know, I wet the whole page and started dripping very like fluid acrylic into it, and just kind of starting to like see what came forth. And I started seeing a few different animals that some got pulled forward, like the ram up here came through really strong, and this was looking kind of wolfy at first, and then maybe got more fox-like, and many different generational faces. And I saw kind of a child's face with raven wings, and another baby face that's probably my son poking through in a few different places. There was an owl coming through up here. There was a raven that came through at one point that then got covered up with some other stuff. And you know, when I do this, sometimes things will make an appearance and then just be part of the process and not make it for very long. You know, things get pulled forward and pushed back, and you know, that's why I love doing time lapses of pareidolia flow type stuff, because it's fun to see what animals or creatures or faces will say hello for a little while, and then go to the back and let other things come forward. And so there's sometimes a story comes through the process. And yeah, so
Yeah,
there,
that's so I love it.
Thanks, Chantel. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I could keep, layering this up for quite a while, or I could just leave it as a pretty quick sketch. But it's all still very wet and workable. And at one point it was just, really puddly. And that's when I like kind of doing my scrying into it and seeing what it wants to be. But it really does change quite a bit. And when I do this on a canvas, I'll really be very like rough with it and slap the brushes onto it and dig them in quite a bit um, and try not to be precious with it until things get solidified enough. Like this is now at a point where I might want to let this dry a little bit and then go in with some finer brushes and just start rendering. But I try not to render too much early on because I know that more things are going to want to bubble up, and that things that get rendered out early on tend to get covered up anyway. In the flow of things, like other things want to come out and say hello, and it's it's always a fun kind of unveiling process. As it, I feel like it allows, working in this way allows me to make imagination solid, and that kind of amorphous quality of imagination and thought. It's almost like when I look at the paper, it's almost like I'm seeing a three-dimensional protoplasmic like life form that is bubbling and frothing and shaping into different things that it wants to be. It's a fun kind of process to watch unfold. And a lot of times it is kind of like something that I'm watching more than doing. I'm really trying not to render too much until it gets far enough along in the process. And it's always interesting too, like, I like refraining from looking up any photo references until I'm at a stage where I'm really kind of dialed in on it. I like kind of seeing what comes through just based on intuition and memory. And then, once it gets to a certain point, then I'll want to like kind of correct things and make it look more like what a ram should look like, or more like what other things could be, it but for now I like to just work from the imagination and from memory and just let the hand move without really thinking about what it's doing. So I try to hold my brush or pencil pretty loosely when I'm doing stuff like this. I try sometimes to even use like my non-dominant hand, so that there's kind of like a deterrent from getting too caught up in the details, or it just allows you to make a different type of mark on the paper or canvas than if you were using your dominant hand. So like sometimes I'll make marks with my left hand knowing that they'll come out a little wackier and funkier than if I was using my right. How's everybody else doing? Who else was playing along? I know Corey did a really fun one. She had to bounce out, but her eagle was looking really cool.
Yeah, I was watching Corey's eagle too take shape, and that was really cool. And Daniel, did you want to share what you've been doing?
Sure. I was hanging out before the meditation began, and I was looking around for canvas because I saw the talk was on astrology, so I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to come and be a part of this, and I knew people were going to be working or something, so I had some little square canvases, so I started like drawing. I kind of just follow like energy kind of, and a lot of like abstract expressionism, impressionism. So I'm just like a lot of like geometric like shapes and colors kinds of things. And I just recently started working with paints, but I during the meditation, the first thing that came in so sharp was a killer whale, and then like I started to like tune into like the currents of the oceans, like big currents and big whales in the ocean. And then the octopus really spoke to me like powerfully. So I just did like a quick little octopus, and I'm gonna like make purple in the back. And I like I said, impressionistic, very, very simple stuff. But I eventually like the circle that you like at first, like I got so when you brought up the circle, and like I got pulled into the ocean with the whale and the octopus, and then I got pulled into the sky by the hawk. The hawk spoke very, very strongly, as did like the raven. And I was like earlier while you were giving the astrology talk, like the raven and bear, like I identify very strongly in Virgo, Libra, Capricorn. So like I heard those words. I analyze, I use, and I balance. I analyze like sun, moon, rising. I analyze, I use, I balance, and like one of them pulled me really into the bear and the raven. But the ones that were speaking loudly were definitely the whale, but also strongly the octopus and the hawk. And then my roommate, he's been mixing a song for a band I play in, and he's like, the mix was ready. He's like, you gotta listen to it right now. So like, I had to step out, and because he wants to finish the mix tonight, so I just had to listen to it, which is really exciting, give some feedback. But now I'm back, and I pulled out the paints like 10 minutes ago, so I'm gonna work on like an oceanic, purpley, bluish octopus.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I also like got pulled into like the forest and ants, trees, like from the hawks, like they were big people. They were like big people-sized birds, and then like there was a big ant, but also then the tree and the leaves. Yeah, like there was a very strong like tree vibe there too. And it made me feel the earth. And I had this like really the moment when you said, let's like, we're in this like basement, we go down the stairs and open the door and close the door, and I'm in this world, and you said like there's a gift, and my gift was the memory of this, like all the way from the oceans to the forests and the wind. And it was this thing I was taking with me. It was like, but I had to leave something. I'm like, what am I gonna leave? And it was gratitude. It's like all I can really do is be grateful for these things. And like I was leaving gratitude, and then I had this really sad moment where it was like, how can I leave gratitude? And there was something that was just so broken, and I realized gratitude was the gift that I thought I was leaving, but it's actually what I was taking. And it was blew my mind.
Yeah. That's so cool. The thing that stands out to me right now with that is the hawk and the ant are very connected, because the ant, the medicine of the ant is patient, and the hawk being, connected to the Aries that we talked about, and the hawk is not always just connected to Aries. Like the hawk is a free spirit, right? But Aries need patience. That's one of their lessons in life is patience. And the ant is there, really solidifying the messages of the Aries. And so for me, I would really be interested in knowing what house the Aries is sitting in your chart, or what is influencing Aries.
I have 0 fire in my chart. I am so earth, air. I don't have, I think my midhaven is in Leo, but I have no planets in fire. So sorry, you were asking about Aries. Aries is my 6th house, because I have rising Libra, and it's empty. It's barren. I have only one. I have nothing in from Pisces or Aries or Taurus or Gemini. I have everything. I have my Cancer, my Jupiter and my Saturn are like 180 degrees apart. So Capricorn to Cancer. I have Saturn in Capricorn and Jupiter in Cancer, and they make like a hard line, and then everything else is on that side.
The other side, yeah. Wow, that's cool. So maybe also that you might be living with an Aries Or there's an Aries.
Yeah, the romantic relationship I've been in is with like a double Aries. I think she's Sun and Moon Aries, and like to hear like patience. I'm a very patient person, and like there's been a lot of Aries, creative Aries energy in my life for a number of years, and patience, like, and that's great that like it's tied. The hawk is tied to how. Can you tell me more about how the hawk and the ant are connected?
Well, they're both connected to the sign of Aries, and so to me, it's like you are in a relationship with an Aries, then the medicine came to you in your meditation. So the medicine is actually coming to you to help you bring the messages of patience to that person, and you know, also community. So the ant, on the other aspect, the ant is very community based, you know, so having the patience to hold the community, and the hawk to use the visual aspect, you know, going for the target of what it is that you're both dreaming up and envisioning for your life. Yeah. And the whale, well, the whale is, you know, I had a whale come up in my drawing too, but not in my meditation. But the whale is actually connected to the galactic center, and the galactic center is has been completely and utterly open the last 3 days, and it's just starting to move off right now. But the whale is the keeper of all Akashic records. And so the last few days has definitely been, you know, the energy is available for us to all tune in to the Akashic records. And so the whale turning up in your meditation to me is like, oh yeah, you know, do more meditation and call in that whale, you know, make friends with the whale and tap into the messages.
Thank you so much. It felt very grandmotherly, like the whale, and like, so like that makes sense that it would be like Akashic, like because it always carries that role of the one who carries the tradition, kind of, tells the stories and things like that. So like it felt very, that's cool. I appreciate that information. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Was there anybody else that did a little drawing after the meditation? I can see there's a few new people that have jumped in, so hello and welcome to the train.
Aloha, aloha everybody.
Hello.
Hey, how you going, Kaylin?
Good, how's it?
Yeah,
I tuned
it's
into
going
your
good.
Okay, good. Oh yeah, there's a little delay. Go figure. Thank you. Ow! Ow, ow! Nice call, Mark. Thank you. And beautiful art that you're working on.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll just do half face the whole time. This is my chin. What's up, everybody? Yo, I am painting a super trippy painting right now, as we all are. So let's share in that experience. No, I had this crazy emergence of this crazy painting happen yesterday on the train. Like I just was on the train for like 9 or 10 hours or something yesterday, just busting out this crazy painting. And so I'm working on this painting again, which kind of I feel connects to like some of the automatic stuff you were talking about, like the intuitive type work. Just letting stuff come through. But I'm just feeling good. It's my birthday and I'm working on this trippy painting with a bunch of other awesome painters.
Happy birthday!
Birthday.
Oh, that looks great.
Yo, look at this.
Wow.
Look at this crazy shit. We got this like, look at this conversation happening right now. We got, it's almost like a throne to me where this being is chilling, right? And they're having this conversation with this other being just chilling on this other throne, like across the way. And it's like there's this big kind of feminine chalice kind of shape in the yeah, it's interesting, guys. To have this come through yesterday was like, whoa, I'm working on this until my feet give out. And that's what I did.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was like one of those flows. So yeah, thanks for letting me share that. Feeling good about it.
Looks awesome, Galen.
Looks really cool.
Down there's like this big dragon thing. Do you see it with the teeth?
Down here on the bottom?
No. Go up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. You see it?
Oh, here, like these?
It's got the mouth.
Looking mouth.
It's got the mouth and the teeth.
Oh yeah, I
It's
see
got
them.
claws coming out. Yeah, get that. Get it.
It's so drippy and squiggly. I think squiggly is a good word for that. Squiggly.
Yeah,
I love
going
that
to
just
squiggly.
reminded me of reminded me there of that painting is like you were birthing the new mythology of the time. You know, it's like the womb is being brought forward and anchored in, you know, like some of the teachings that we've been going through with the Uluru and the emu in the Milky Way is like the reconnection of the womb to the female, because we've had a separation with that. You know, the Andromedan star constellation is the chained woman, and Orion was the one that chained the woman up. Oh, but she was chained from her womb, and right now it's like really reconnecting the woman and the womb together, and that just spoke so that it's just like, fuck, that painting is speaking so much massive volumes to me about we are in a time of really birthing the new stories of mythology, and that is definitely one of them. It's like, fuck, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing.
That was wow. Wow. Whew.
And especially yesterday, you know, being on the train yesterday and
Yeah.
it's
Yesterday
just,
was a trip.
yeah. It's freaking awesome. Did anybody else wanted to share any of their little, what they're working on, or, you know, even what they're just working on? Hey, Lacey.
I thought I'd share. I've been participating in the meditation.
Yeah, sure.
And gosh, what happened? I was kind of fixated on something at the beginning that I was having a hard time with, and it took me a little while to drop in, but at first I saw it was like a bird with white wings that were really almost bigger than bird wings, and it was just this big embrace from this animal. I kind of did I'm just going to look at this to remind me. Oh yeah, then there was a bear, like this gentle bear. I was so exhausted and couldn't kind of carry myself, and I was just kind of laying on this bear's back, getting a ride. Oh yeah, then here's a gift. It's this pure like light in the heart, and it just moves through all the veins. Got a visit from a dear one who's passed as well, a partner. Here, this was the first drawing that came. Like a crystal in the heart, and these fire that was like circling around and trying to light up in the center of the heart, and eventually brought light there as well. And then this drawing happened. This ended up being this woman in kind of in a fetal position, and these green life, that's what I saw as I came up the stairs, this bright green growth. There's kind of an egg. And this painting came out, which felt like it was those wings, and it feels very angelic, like angel wings. Yeah.
I love how much came
Yeah.
through for you, Amy. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to continue to sit with that feeling rather than trying to grasp onto any real visual or image. It's like connecting to the feeling as well. And the medicine of those animals speak to us in so many different ways, and dropping into that space is really cool. I feel like the wings, these big white wings for you are more of a connection of an ancestor, and the ancestor really wanting to wrap you up and remind you that you're that they're there around you. That real feminine energy comes to me.
Yeah. I looked up which place you said the bear was in, and saw the Virgo. So I wondered about that.
Also the crazy. Also the bear is in the west. So you have in the west constellation, or the west aspect of the medicine wheel is Libra, Sag, and Scorpio. And so the bear will be connected to them as well. The bear is not in that, the Virgo is the bear in those three aspects, but also the bear comes in with those next three too. And different bears, yeah. But anyway, Lacey, did you want to share with us?
Sure. Unfortunately, I was a little distracted during the meditation, but I was at least there to listen to at least how everything was going. So I'm going to try to meditate on it later. But I have this pet portrait that I am going to color in with watercolor, and I'm having fun with it.
Awesome. I just love seeing everybody's their expression. It's so inspiring. And not that we've really talked much, Lacey, but I love seeing your artwork. It just really inspires me so deeply, the way that you can express with color and flowers and all of that. It's just, so beautiful.
When I researched my astrological chart, I realized how many of my signs are like so in tune with like pursuing being an artist. Like I got Sagittarius rising, which said that I should do like individualistic career where I can express independence and creativity. and the other signs kind of point to that too. Oh, thanks. Love you, Zach. Y'all crushed too. I don't really know what else to say. I got nervous when everybody else muted.
Sorry, I thought Chantel was going to say something, but she muted at the same time that I muted. Lacey, did you, what, like, when you do your paintings, do you, like, what's your, because you also go to a place of kind of flow and pareidolia and decalcomania. What could you talk about your process a little bit again? I know you've talked about it before, but I love hearing how you dive into your work.
Absolutely. Thank you. But I like to set an intention when I paint and not necessarily like a concrete idea. Like sometimes I get a really concrete idea and I paint those visions and try to stay true to them mostly. But as long as the idea is still there, I'll flow with it, and I'll do decalcomania using like every possible thing that I can find and kind of loosely follow that vision. I like to say that I start with an idea, but it has no opposition to change. Sometimes I end up with something completely different than how I started.
I can definitely relate to that for sure. Right on. What are you working on tonight?
I've been working on this pet portrait, but now that I'm done working on that for the night, I'm gonna work on Fall of the Citadel.
Ooh.
Fall of the Citadel had absolutely no meaning when I started it. I just did decalcomania, and it was my first painting after my first workshop with Amanda and Tori, and I was just gonna roll with it. And for some reason, I had been being called to paint the tower for my tarot deck. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to paint the tower, but I guess I ended up kind of painting it anyways.
Yeah. Lacey, that painting is dope.
Yeah.
That painting is sick. I saw it earlier on some social media, something. And yeah, well done.
Thank you so much.
I love the one with feathers in its face, the feather face dragon.
Yeah, down on the bottom thing.
Yeah, juicy.
I'm in the final layers of this painting now, I think, but I'm working on trying to play with the depth, and so it's a lot of push and pull. So who knows how many layers that's gonna take. I got a bunch of tiny little.
Do you feel like you're experiencing a tower moment? Like if you feel called to share, I know that's a little personal, but do you feel like you're experiencing a tower moment in your life right now?
So right now, not so much, at least not the collapsing of anything that isn't serving me. But when I started this, like I normally only work on it when I'm feeling really inspired to, because I don't want to manifest that shit. But when I started painting it, I was just like, oh dear, I know what's coming. And then like everything fell apart in the best and worst ways imaginable. And that's when I was working really hard on it. And I put it down for a long time and ended up moving states, lost like all my money, like skipped town and ran away to escape people but with my partner. And we've been here ever since, and everything's been going uphill.
Thanks for sharing that.
That's awesome, Lacey. Elias, can you chime in on your decalcomania pareidolia process and tell us a little bit about what you're working on over there? I'm loving that easel.
Yes, I first, before I forget, Lacey, if you ever need to seek safety in any place at all, please come to Miami or wherever I may be. My door is always open to you, and I'm glad that you're safe. Second, Yeah, I'm just on a janky little easel because I'm actually home for the holidays. So I'm at my parents' house. They like painted the walls white. I feel like I'm in an asylum. But this is actually like some spooky ass like cosmic gestress, who I ensnared
Whoa.
last year during my like last day here. So I only got to work on it one day last year, but here we are now. I don't know. It's still not really focusing, but you kind of get the idea. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll just start with like a very like rough shape, but a very clear one. So like all of the kind of like V and swirling shapes were just like big decalcomania sweeps. And then I saw her and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? And yeah, so since then I've been just kind of thinking about her, waiting to be back and figure out who the fuck she is. And yeah, now we're here. And
You ever meet anybody from your paintings?
All the time.
I mean,
oh my God.
Besides yourself. I mean, we're constantly meeting ourselves, right? But yeah, do you ever have like a prophetical thing happen? Has anybody had that here that wishes to share? I've had that happen a couple times. Like, oh yeah, you were in a painting I did 2 years ago. Open question.
So when I was in high school, I used to have like super crazy vivid dreams, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and draw the people in my dreams and not remember drawing it. I would wake up to these drawings, and I would always like never fail meet them a couple weeks later in my life. It was really weird, and I would always be like, "Ooh, I know to stay away from you because you're evil." Or I was like, "Ooh, I know you're a good person. Be my friend." So that's
amazing.
Whoa. Yeah, it's incredible.
That is just a cool way of divining, you know, like, wow. That's something that I would definitely recommend you, Paige, really exploring and pushing through into, you know, getting your messages from the ethers or from God or whoever else you want to connect with. But that's your way of divining, is through those, you know, drawings in between the dream state. Yeah. Powerful.
Something else. So I did the meditation, but then I've been like back and forth between the kitchen because I'm like chocolatiering for Christmas and the studio. So I didn't do like the sketching after because I had to go check on my chocolates. But I saw a hummingbird and a spider, which I've been seeing a lot, and several others. But especially the hummingbirds, they nest in my yard. I have like three or four couples nesting in my property. And so I see them every day. And for like 3 weeks, and one day I didn't see them and I went to work and I was breaking down the soda machine because I'm like a bartender. And on one of the soda labels, which I've worked there for 3 years and never noticed it, there's a hummingbird like in the crazy design of the soda label. And I literally like yelled in the middle of my restaurant. I was like, I see you. You're so weird.
Yeah, that's so cool. So cool. And the more we are observant of the natural world and the animal world and the animal kingdom, they just come and give us so many beautiful signs and messages, and it really makes our life magical. Yeah. I'll just quickly share. After the meditation, and we kind of just dropped in, and then life and children and husband all kind of pulled me away from that initial state. But I come back and I started drawing, or I could see my door to the spirit world, and my path is always yellow, but it also turned into a snake that I was walking on. Now I'm always gifted with the feathers, the crow feathers. And then in my circle, it was like I could see my body, but my body shape shifting. So I shape shifted into the bear and the crow and some other bird that I don't think was from this realm. It was kind of, I don't know what sort of bird it was really. But yeah, so anyway, I just, it's really cool to play around with, and I'm kind of interested in doing what you did, Mark, too, with the high fluid. And what did you do that on?
This was just on watercolor paper. Yeah, I used some of the fluid acrylics and a lot of water. And I just used 2 colors. I used Payne's gray and white, but you could do it in any color. And sometimes I do it with ink. I kind of grab different things. Like sometimes I'll do it with watercolor, but for this I used acrylic. And you could do it with the high viscosity or more thicker acrylics and just thin it down with a little bit more water. But the fluid ones just spread so nice when they hit the water.
Yeah. It's so cool. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen Christmas Day. How am I going to not do art on Christmas Day and be a good parent? Was there anybody else that wanted to share anything, whether they were part of the meditation or whether they're just wanting to share where they're at right now? And everybody's just chilling and doing their thing. Shall we just maybe play some more music?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. If everyone who called to share is ready to get back to work, let's do it.
I'll introduce myself real quick.
Yeah, please.
Hi. My name is Shalene. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I just hopped on, so I missed the meditation, but I started what I'm doing by drawing a card. I actually drew it this morning and pulled it back out. It was a screech owl and about creativity and using creativity to work with problems or things that are happening in my life. And then I sat down to write. It says Shalene sings. I sing a lot. I infuse it into everything that I do. And recently I'm working on translating a story and a song that I use to teach kids how to swim. And it works like magic, and I'm translating it into Spanish. So now I'm writing it all in like she form and he form and they form, so that I can translate it and write a book about all the experiences that I've had teaching through this story and song. So it's fun to work with y'all. Thanks.
Cool. It's an interesting
idea. Thanks for sharing that. It is very interesting. I'd love to learn more and maybe sometime hear your beautiful voice.
It's likely. It happens every once in a while. Yeah, I'll just burst into song.
Yeah, cool.
Shalene, is this your first time on the Vision Train?
It isn't. This is probably maybe my 4th time. The first time was on Halloween, actually, and I ended up. Nice. Yeah, I was going through a breakup and ended up by myself and lit a huge fire and did all this ceremonial stuff, and I ended up being on for hours, just filming the full moon and filming the fire and meeting the people that were on the call. It was a cool experience.
Well, welcome back.
Thanks
you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Vision Train? I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, the Vision Train, it was started back in March by Amanda Sage. And it's an idea that was kind of germinating and marinating for many years. She had envisioned, I think, originally a physical train, and she had been bringing the Vision Train project to different festivals and talking about it for many years. But the pandemic kind of presented an opportunity to call in the troops, and she reached out to all of these different networks of people that were former students and friends and said, let's jump on a Zoom call together. And she started the Vision Train as like an art jam. And at some point the idea started to like, let's see if we can just keep it going. And so I think very early on she decided that if they could get the Zoom call to keep going, that they would keep it going as long as they could. And it became the 24/7 nonstop Vision Train. So it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's run by the community. So, you know, Amanda and a couple of the engineers kind of put things in motion, but it's an all volunteer crew that keeps things on the tracks. And you know, there's conductors who volunteer to kind of steer the ship for 6-hour shifts, and you know, we just keep passing the torch, and there's people all around the world who are signing in. So it's been incredible through the past 9 months to connect with people around the world, but also it helps it keep going around the clock because we just hand off to different time zones. And it's always amazing because there's always a mix of people in different time zones also. Like, you know, right now Chantel's in Australia, I'm in New York, we've got people on the West Coast, we've got the East Coast. It's great. And just hearing about how people are doing and connecting with similar, you know, like-minded artists really around the world, in places that you would never expect to like chat with artists from those places. It's amazing. And there's always a mix of different types of programming, and you know, sometimes there's more you know, dialogue intense programming like tonight, and then other times it's just, you know, like pretty much 6 hours of art jam, and we'll get some guest DJs sometimes or live music. But you know, it's really I was thinking about the other day, and the Vision Train kind of becomes what it needs to be in the moment that you're in. It's ever adapting, and it really, over the course of, you know, minute to minute, it can shift, and depending on what the needs are of the train in that space, in that time, it's really interesting how it adapts to kind of be a safe space for all that need it when they need it. And it's a great place for people to come and find the others and make some art together and talk about weird stuff. You know, it's great. And it's been powerful medicine through the pandemic, through like this period of isolation, coming together with like all these people who are going through similar but different experiences. And you know, just having that community and accountability, and you know, it's been a very powerful space. Definitely a potent incubator too. The amount of artwork that people have produced on the train is kind of insane. Lacey's probably done 100 paintings in the last 9 months.
I'm getting close to it. But yeah, something that I've been really like thinking is so remarkable is how this has like never in history been possible. Like, we've been having this nonstop for what, 10 months now? It's like 10 months, right?
Yeah,
9
I think, yeah. Well, 9, I think.
9
right?
months.
We started in March. Is it
But
10?
like 24 hours a day for almost a year. No
Yeah,
one's
it's-
ever done that before.
Yeah.
We're trailing through uncharted territory, and like it's such a beautiful way to be able to unify everybody.
there's also there's a comfortability and a familiarity in that everybody on the train is kind of a friend of a friend. You know, it's like everybody kind of found out about it through somebody that knows somebody. It's all very, like, you can play the Kevin Bacon game, but it's normally no more than 1 degree of separation, 2 degrees of separation. It's pretty amazing how everybody, you know, there's just a very a great dynamic that everybody seems to have. People show up to work or to learn or to share. There's definitely a participatory culture on the Vision train, a culture of inclusiveness. And yeah, it's just a great space to come and you know, like, sometimes people come just to listen and you know, rather than throwing on a podcast or an audiobook, the Vision train kind of like, there's always people working and talking and sharing and playing cool music or podcasts, and then you just have friends to share that space with and make some art.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, and everybody for sharing your paintings and your stories. Yeah, it's super cool. That very, very awesome. Yeah, I've been glad to be here. It's so great to find community and to find people that are inspiring each other. Like you said, the sheer volume of work that's been produced is like, it's like everybody just it's a yeah, community. I appreciate that community. When the pandemic hit, I had like a variety show that I was running with a friend. It was like everything from storytelling, comedy, music, poetry, all kinds of stuff. And we were doing it in physical space. And then we started doing it once a week on Zoom. And it was like 3 months we did every Saturday night. It was a full showcase and open mic kind of thing. And we had that, you know, that it wasn't nowhere close to 24/7, but like people hanging out in that Zoom room, coming together to celebrate with art, to tell their story through their art, to watch each other and be mirrors for each other and create each other with each other, inspire each other. And that it's a beautiful community. Thank you for welcoming me into it. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm just a bit north in Toronto.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That community, you know, it's funny because so many artists, when things started locking down, artists all kind of had this similar, like, ha ha ha, I have to be alone. You know, it's like we tend to be good at like spending time in isolation working on our stuff, but at the same time we also need community and need, you know, we tend to be very like empathetic people and people that you know, have deep relationships. And this gives us the opportunity to combine those two worlds, like to come together while still in isolation in a space that's geared towards being productive. You know, nobody, it's great too, because everyone on the train kind of gets it also, that like people come to work, so you know, it's like you can get into a flow and people aren't going to like try and get you to talk if you're not in the, you know, it's like there's a time for conversation, there's a time to get stuff done. And yeah, the train adapts to what people need in that moment. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, even to have that chance to see people's faces is like it's a nice addition. It's kind of like going to the office. It's like, you know, these are the people I'm working with, kind of. We don't necessarily, you know, even talk all the time, but like you're in your cubicle, I'm in my cubicle, and we're like doing our thing, but in a great way,
Yeah.
as a community,
Although,
friendship, you know.
yeah, surprisingly, I mean, there's definitely a good number of people on the train who I have met in person prior to the train, through, you know, various events and things. And then there's so many people on the train that I never met before, but became, you know, like lifelong friends with, that it's, you know, we've been on this call together for 9 months. You know, a lot of people have been painting every day on here. And so, you know, we know a lot about each other's lives. And And it's amazing having that, you know. It's definitely, you know, we have our water cooler on the vision train. Definitely have the office vibes. But yeah, it's amazing being able to come together in this space and see people's faces. And there's certainly an accountability that happens, you know, when you show up on the train. It's like you can just sit and listen, but I would start feeling itchy, you know. It's like if I see everybody painting, I got to get to work. You know, it holds me accountable. It makes me know that other people are getting shit done. I gotta make sure I'm bringing visions into the world too.
Yeah.
We only have so much time, you know. We gotta use it well. I've really, you know, it's funny, like during this whole strange 2020, I had already been kind of cutting down on entertainment that I consume and trying to create more than I consume. But I really transitioned, and I think the vision train really helped with that. Like the amount of TV or, you know, movie theaters are done, but I don't consume much entertainment at all anymore. It's like the vision train and my artwork is really the entertainment that I'm consuming, and it's more about creation. It's I would much rather watch what unfolds on the canvas than, you know, more filler, mindless TV. And it's so easy to fall into that couch trap, you know. It's enticing sometimes. Well, that being said, I think it's a good time to throw some music on. We'll stop the recording. Thank you everybody for being here in this space tonight. And Chantel, thank you for the amazing journey and all the insight. It's been great.
Thank you. It was great, and I just love being able to do what I do, you know, and continue to bring that world into people's lives of remembering that the spirit world and those sacred circles are available to us all the time. And this is where we are able to access deep healing. And yeah, it's definitely my honor to continue to share it on the train. And I really look forward to the new year and sharing more, sharing more of me, doing lots more paintings and hanging out. It's like, yay, bring on 21 with the train and just how it's gonna fucking evolve. And I'm just so, I just like, you know, I said to my husband the other day, you know, when all the borders are freaking open, you know that I'm inviting pretty much the whole of the train to come to Australia and freaking hang out and do some serious partying.
Did you say not all at once? Or was that the only? Do we have to space it out?
Well, he actually said, do you really think, babe, that they're going to come to Forbes? It's like, fuck yeah, I'm here. That's why they're coming.
Can we have a World Visionary Art Festival?
Sorry?
Can we have a World Visionary Art Festival at your house?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just freaking rock the town. We'll just take over our tiny little bush town. They'll freaking love it. I know some Aussies would be freaked out, but it'd be all good.
Where exactly did you say? Forks?
Forbes, yeah. So we're Forbes, yeah. We're like 6 hours west of Sydney. So from here, it like gets really flat. we're not in the desert, but it's flat country. It's wheat. It's the wheat belt. So there's a lot of wheat and canola that's grown, and yeah, not too many people kind of venture out from the city this way, you know. But when I say West, you know, some people go, oh, you're in Western Australia. It's like, no, not that freaking far west. So I'm still in New South Wales, but yeah, definitely in the country, which I'm very grateful to be in the country because, you know, the cities have gone crazy and lost their freaking minds. And we're just going back. Australia right now is just going back into border closures and, yeah, like the poor people in Sydney can't travel outside of Sydney to their families for Christmas. They're all kind of, yeah, shut down, which is a bit sad. But I'm glad that I'm in the country, that's for sure. And yeah. So Mark, did you want to share some music? Because I looked on the schedule and I just realised that nobody has booked in for trip 1. So I'm happy to hang out, and then if you wanted to share some vibes now, and then I'll just take over trip 1. And
that sounds perfect.
Yeah, cool.
Right on. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll throw on some music. All right. Thanks so much.